No Guts, No Galaxy is recorded in front of a live studio audience. This is an adult podcast containing adult language. Consider yourself warned. Live from the Outreach Studios around the world, this is a No Guts, No Galaxy podcast. And now, your host, Phil, a.k.a. Sean Lang.
Welcome to the No Guts, No Galaxy podcast number 82. My name is Phil, and I'm your host. It is July 24th, 2013, and my shout-out is going to go to David, a.k.a. Cowbell. Thanks for coming down, hanging out, and drinking a beer with me, dude. It was really cool, and you are the first, NGNG follower that I've actually met and been able to, hang out with, so that's a one-up on the beard, because I've yet to meet the beard, but soon I will meet the beard. Daeron, who do you got?
And he wasn't abducted by some crazy fan and driven out into the middle of the forest and who knows what. So that's cool. Way to go.
Oh, what a shame. I mean, that's so good. Yeah, so good. Always need more cowbell. Awesome. Hey, this is Daeron, a.k.a. Bombadil. My shout out today goes to the Sarah's Mech charity drive, which is already over $42,000 in just over a day. So that is awesome. This community, as I've said so many times, just blows me away, continues to blow me away. You guys are great, and I appreciate it. And for some of you special people out there, I'd like to read a quote from a favorite novel of mine. There is no end to the wailing of senseless rebellion, to the elevation of self above all, the narcissism that sees the face of any authority only in the mirror. Brandon? Hello, this is Brandon, also Catrick, and I am severely depressed because of that quote. Thanks, Daeron. My shoutouts tonight are going to MechSpecs, MWOG, and Aces.
And Laura?
Hey guys, this is Laura. My shoutout for tonight goes to Ubersoul Dot, who I met in game yesterday. Hope your day is going well.
Sweet. And of course, I'd like to welcome everyone out there, all of our new listeners. We don't have a live studio audience because TS3, our NGNG outreach server, is being temperamental, and we had to record on the backup, so no audience members. I think actually we have one, and that's one of our NGNG staff, Dagger. So anyways, welcome, Dagger. But to everyone else, hopefully you're having a great day. Hey, we ask if you like what we're doing over here at NGNG, if you like all the comics, if you like the podcast, if you like the YouTube, if you like the Twitch, if you like the journalist articles, all of that, if you like what we're doing, head over to our website. And on the front page of the website, there's a tip jar on the right side. And just show us some love, and we'd appreciate it. Again, the quick turnarounds on the podcast are due to you guys donating. We're able to set up contracts with our audio and our comic strip guys, and they turn around them very, very quickly. So again, thank you for helping that happen.
Are you doing a little shopping online? Maybe Amazon or Newegg or Tiger Direct? If so, help support the show while shopping for cool stuff online by clicking on the Amazon, Newegg, or Tiger Direct buttons on our website. They're on the right side. Scroll down a little bit. It won't add anything to your charge, but it gives NGNG a little kickback. It's a great way to support everything we do if you don't want to or cannot donate directly. Also, just for those of you out there that were asking, our new RSS feed is working again. It is feeds.feedburner.com/NGNG. Again, feeds.feedburner.com/NGNG. And yes, we know that iTunes is now down. That's because we fixed that one, so we got to do a little switcheroo, and we'll get that back up and running as quickly as we can.
Fix one thing, break another. You can thank beer. Nah. All right, guys. This week's Catalyst Game Lab sponsorship giveaway is week 11. Holy crap, week 11 already. This is actually, we're doing another TRO, Technical Readout 3039. Make sure to head over to our website, and basically it's simple. You register and you post, I think this week is your favorite light battle mech. That's all you got to do, and you get a chance to enter to win. And of course, I randomly draw that in a week, and may the odds be ever in your favor.
My favorite light battle mech is a Warhammer.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. I like the Flea.
No, that's an actual light battle mech.
Oh, you screwed it up, dude.
You should have been like Atlas. Steiner.
But it's not in the game. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay.
George is putting in his vote for the Flea fans.
Speaking of guests, we actually have Garth Earlham. Welcome, Garth. It's always a pleasure, my friend.
Hello.
So, we got a few topics that we want to talk about today, just in general, and I feel like we've talked a lot about what currently is going on in the game. But I think what we definitely want to talk about and speculate a little bit, and obviously Garth, I know you can't answer some of these because it's not out yet, or maybe it's hush hush ninjas, ooh, there's thunder in the background, Comstar stuff. But hey, if you just want to speculate with us, try to do so, and we do have some questions for you in a little bit. But the first thing I want to talk about for MechWarrior Online is game modes. Now, a recent discussion came up just based on the Assault and Conquest. For you guys that have played, Brandon and Laura and Daeron, how do you guys feel about the current Assault and Conquest, and do you feel like they can be modified in some way to make gameplay a little bit better? And what I mean by this is there was a suggestion for Assault, basically moving the cap points more so like not directly on top of each other, but more in the middle, so that it sort of forces the fight. You can still cap, but it still forces the fight in action. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Have you put any thought into it at all?
I think the Assault and the Conquest game modes are fine on their own type of thing. I think the biggest question is some more varied game modes. Like, for example, if you want to do the one with the cap points mainly in the center, why not just make it a bigger cap area and make it King of the Hill?
Yeah.
How do you do King of the Hill without respawn though?
Well, one shot.
Well, how about why not have respawn?
I'm not a huge fan of respawn, but to be honest, I think we should probably include it at some point.
Whatever happened to dropship mutator?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, obviously we're playing a fictitious, futuristic, I say this. Well, what I'm saying is, okay, so what? At the end of the day, what I look at is what's fun. And when I play other titles, War Thunder and some of these other ones where you bring in, 6 planes and you tactics and strategery, if you will, you bring out different basically planes based on the what's going on in the game. And so it's just one of those things where strategically I could bring out an assault. Well, not me, maybe I'd always probably be in mediums and heavies, but my point being is, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Daeron, would you be opposed to something like I should say this. Respawn, you think of MW4 where it's like you have an hour match and it's constant respawn, you can bring whatever you want. Is that the case, or is it you only have 4 mechs you can bring in and you can choose which one you deploy at any given time? And I guess that sort of harks back to your guys' original dropship mode suggestion. Daeron?
Well, first of all, to be fair, while War Thunder does have the option to have multiple planes, games like World of Tanks and their version, World of Warplanes, does not. It's one vehicle and then that's the end. But on the other hand, I love variety. For example, we've got our NGNG TV guys that, they have their own little basically game modes that they've made up, and they're a blast. They totally screw your stats because you're doing a bunch of team killing, but they're super fun. And so I'm a big proponent of variety. So whether or not it was, having 6 mechs, I like the old dropship mode where you maybe have 3 mechs that you could choose from. But even, for example, a true death match where there's no cap, I would like to see that. I think that would be easy. You just take out the cap points. Sticking a cap point in the middle and, calling it Ring Around the Rosie, I don't care. Yeah, do something. I definitely like a variety of game modes. I like the ability for people to choose which game modes they do want to participate in or don't want to participate in via the user interface. And I just think overall variety is going to be better for the game, better for the community.
And honestly, Assault is getting a little bit boring. I mean, sure, you do have the confrontations and the weight up to the big brawl in the middle, but if we did something a little bit different every now and then, that would be great.
I think one of the benefits to having Assault would be to implement a tonnage limit for lances, or like the 4 people in your lance, or having a separate maybe game mode where you need 4 people requirement, so it would be like Lance Assault or something like that, where there would be a limit of like 300 tons or something like that for all 4 people's mechs to come out in. So it would be more balanced in a way, and that way you'd have a little bit, I think, more dynamic fighting, perhaps.
Well, and I was thinking there's game modes out there, and I can't remember the specific mode, but let's bring it up. Like the Battlefield Bad Company, where you have a defender and you have an assault team.
I was just going to say that. Assault and defend would be a great mode.
Well, and when you assault and they take that position, it opens up another part of the map, and then the defenders start spawning from there. There's actually a specific game mode for that. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if you guys do, but so there are a ton of different game modes that do capture the hill. There's probably even more. I mean, And I guess, domination. I mean, for me, capture the flag. I mean, for me, though, I feel like a lot of people want these things. I am definitely right there in the middle. I can understand a lot of people being a little burnt out on Assault and Conquest. Definitely understand. Hey, you've been playing, some of you guys, including us, have been playing since closed beta. And so they're really, really waiting to hear, about, Community Warfare, different game modes. And that being said, I know PGI has stated the whole dropship mode, and I feel that at the end of the day, Garth, you sort of said this, that you're like, me personally, I don't really want to see respawn, but I think we should add it. I feel like it's what's fun, and if what's fun isn't realistic, as far as like, oh well, you only have one mech, that's not realistic. I mean, who cares? For me, I'm like, what's fun?
It's the 1980s future. It's not going to be realistic.
1980s future. Yeah, I mean, and I agree, it needs to be what's fun, and I think variety, it should trump everything. But the one game mode that I don't, just personally, I'm not in favor of at all, is just unlimited respawning. I like a limited, like 3 maybe or whatever, but I'm just not big into the unlimited respawn thing for mech games.
You're not into that whole no heat, unlimited ammo servers? Come on.
No, thank you.
Now, that being said, anytime, you implement a game mode too, and there is some type of respawn, whether it's you only have X amount of mechs, imagine, if you will, you had to choose an assault, heavy, medium, and light for these game modes. Each person had to choose those, and then obviously you can say, well, what if that person doesn't have those particular mechs? You always have one in the trial mechs too. So I guess what I'm saying is there's definitely plenty out there, and what I would like to do is I'd like to hear from Paul and Brian, and maybe Garth, if you want to jot some notes down, possibly getting some more info. I know a ton of people out there, they're ready to hear this kind of stuff because, it has been a while. We have been playing the same thing, and I can totally understand where a lot of people are like, look, we love this game, but man, it's just the same thing over and over and over and over and over, day in, day out.
Is this a new thing in gaming where you have to have multiple modes? Because, I mean, I played Quake Team Kill People and Quake Capture the Flag for like 11 years. And I mean, when I originally played Counter-Strike, it had 2 modes and you only played one anyway. So I feel like sometime recently we've decided that we do need them. I'm not saying we don't. I'm just saying it seems weird to me.
Hasn't gaming evolved though?
Yes.
And as gamers, well, no, I think it's
gaming evolved. Gamers have devolved.
No. I think what happens is we have these we have these new experiences, and as we get these new experiences, it raises the bar and our expectations and what we consider fun. Like, well, hold on, enough with the what I'm trying to say is like our experiences as a player and what you do to have fun. And I've played Eve for 4 years straight. I've played mostly with groups, small groups, and we were working and doing these things and having these goals and all this stuff. So my experience would have been completely different if you could have only had single player, just deathmatch. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like it's hitting on like all these different aspects of like sort of like intrinsic things that we want. People that like the assault can go do assault as much as they want. People that want to work as a team and have to can do capture the flag, or there's all types of levels here. I mean, off the top of my head, but I think it's evolved, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Now, what I do think is a bad thing in the gaming industry is holding the player's hand. I think that has devolved. I think that's gone so far in a lot of games and series that press A button to jump over wall. Well, no shit,
Press A button to kill this boss.
No.
Did any of you play Blood Dragon?
No.
The best,
I was about to.
The best tutorial in any game ever. It has quotes like, and I'm not shooting you, this is literal, press jump to jump, running is faster than walking.
Nice.
It's just incredible, because they just throw, and they're like, this is ridiculous. Why are we telling you how to do this stuff?
Well,
you've played games before.
Garth, so. I do have a question for you in regards, and I guess we can move in.
Tutorials are coming.
Okay. So that being said, I've played a lot of games. I've played a lot of lackluster tutorials as well. And at the end of the day, you have information out there that basically says a good, successful tutorial is one that takes a player, leads them through gameplay, and the player uses gameplay to learn the mechanics whether it's tactics, whether it's controls. That is something that's obviously lacking in MWO right now. There is no tutorials, and a lot of people would say, this should have been like, first and foremost, and obviously, layers of a cake. Things come in time. So, can you talk a little bit about the tutorials? You said they're coming along. I mean,
yep, they're coming along. I'm not sure when they'll be out. I can tell you that I wrote them, and that I wrote them to be humorous, shall we say. They are not simply, you're a complete moron. Press the F key to, it is written in a way. Yeah, exactly. Like, it is written in a way to get you to chuckle.
To eject.
Yeah, but it's not as extreme as to move forward, go forward. No,
I didn't go quite that far. I felt like that would be stealing. I did other things. I also wrote it as if Duncan Fisher was talking, I have to admit.
Ooh. Well, also to be devil's advocate, I mean, I agree that a really good tutorial system, in-game tutorial system, walking you through is great for bringing in new players. But on the other hand, there were games like, of course this was just a mod, but DayZ, which had an incredibly ridiculous learning curve. You couldn't find commands anywhere. And it had a huge audience, and a lot of people loved the fact that it didn't treat you like an idiot. So I guess what I'm saying is that the tutorial isn't the end all. Of course, better tutorial is going to be better for the community and better for new players. But I think a lot of people, as far as the development of a game, like I've mentioned before, can't see the forest through the trees and don't understand that you have a limited amount of resources, and the game company is going to know better than most in most cases what needs to be focused on and what doesn't.
Well, you just hit on DayZ, and you're saying you don't have to be, your hand doesn't have to be held, but I think you're sort of looking at it the wrong way. DayZ did basically what like all older games did. Look at Mario Brothers, look at Mega Man. I mean, Contra, all these Metroid, all these games that they didn't tell you press A or B to jump, press up. And
you also keep in mind, though, you had a D-pad and two buttons.
Yes, and I know. That's I was gonna say. Obviously, your inputs are a lot differently, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, from a tutorial's perspective, using gameplay decisions like game functions, game mechanics to show the player how to do it, and not force them. Something like Meat Boy. I was watching, the indie movie, which was great, by the way. If you have Netflix, check it out. It's amazing to see. But they were talking about, Meat Boy, the first few levels, you've got your Meat Boy, he moves forward, he lands on the saws, okay, you press a button, he jumps over, and then there's double jumps, and they reinforce that play throughout the levels. Now, that's very difficult when you get into something like an online game, especially if it's a PvP environment. What I guess I'm trying to say is there's multiple things. When you show, and I guess I'll use a little bit of my, teaching here. If you have someone that's never played a sport, or even that has, and you're going to introduce them to a sport, and you're going to break that down, first off, you have to establish, how much do they know? Do they have any skills right off the bat already? And then you can take that information and you can, apply that to, I guess in this case, it'd be your tutorial curriculum. I mean, that's really what it is, right, Garth? I mean, it's a curriculum for learning.
You do too is you do a basic tutorial that you don't force anyone to do, and then you do advanced tutorials for people who have played but maybe don't know everything, or played MechWarrior 4 and don't remember everything. So you have different ones as well, because if you're playing a basic tutorial and you've been playing mech games since you were 12, chances are you're going to be kind of pissed when you come in and you're like, yes, I know W is forward, Jesus, but there are literally people who don't know.
It's like that quote, you can give a man a loaf of bread, or you can teach him to fish and then he'll buy your bait, or whatever, however it goes. But
you could teach him to bake.
The tutorial
Bacon?
for DayZ was basically like yelling
Yes.
at my friends, how the fuck do you jump? How do you jump? I mean, that was...
Well, remember, DayZ wasn't developed by and I say this, it wasn't developed by
Dean the
a game
Rocket?
studio. Yes, it was done by Dean, and he's also a programmer, and he even stated, DayZ was not a fully, game. So again, that analogy.
No, I was just using it as an extreme that doesn't have
Yeah.
any tutorials.
So when you look at tutorials, the way I look at it is you have to do a few things. Anytime, we are teaching kids a particular skill or sport, the first thing you do is when you're introducing them to the skill is you don't ask them any questions. You demonstrate it. So like in front of them, you can imagine this in a mech, you'd even have a cutscene of a mech doing whatever you're wanting them to learn. And, and then, you ask questions, not just like, hey, what is this called right off the bat? You'd be like, does anybody have any experience with it? Do you know what this mech is doing, or stuff like that? And then obviously you break it down.
In particular is so intricate compared to other shooters. There's no shooter out there that has this much to keep track of. Because you gotta know, you gotta shoot the guy's arm off if he's got something in it. Gauss explodes, ammo explodes. Where do people keep ammo? Where not to keep ammo? What do I do? Do I hold still? Nope, don't hold still. Keep moving. Like things like that are very hard to teach too. So it'll be interesting to see how this works.
Yeah, you got multiple different levels of things you have to learn, and for some of us, we've had years to literally take it in and learn. Right? I mean, I started playing multiplayer BattleTech online when I was 12. So that's been 17 years for me. I've been playing a MechWarrior game of some sort. So that's a lot different than someone coming in who's had no experience.
I've over the shoulder watched some really good game players, just in general, good game players play MechWarrior online, whether it be actually in person or through like Twitch or YouTube videos or whatever. And a lot of them just flail around. They have their mouse sensitivity too high. They don't understand the arms versus the torso. And I see them give up because they just can't get it. There's so much to MechWarrior compared to any standard first-person shooter. I totally agree. And so, I don't know, you need to get somebody making some tutorial videos to explain these things, I guess.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
I'd say
even tutorial videos.
Utilize the
exactly.
I'd say even utilize the training grounds maybe a little bit more. Like maybe have I've played a couple. I know first-person shooters, MMO, like massive first-person shooters, recently that had a tutorial level that you just basically, it was like walk straight, left, strafe, right, how to reload, that sort of thing. It's like a shooting gallery type thing.
Yeah, like that new World War II game that just came out, Red something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Red Orchestra 2?
Yes, exactly what Brandon is saying there. It's that kind of tutorial.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would
so like
much prefer that.
Even implement that like something into like a separate, like have your training grounds where you can test out builds, and then maybe like a tutorial grounds where it'd be like a scripted area in which you could learn.
It's like you're reading my mind.
Yeah.
I know, right?
It's like trippy.
What is this? Are we like wave length?
So obviously tutorials. Yeah, tutorials are a big thing. Very important. It's actually good to hear that things are moving along on that. Obviously, no dates, Girth, but definitely keep us up to date. The next thing I want to talk about and bring this up is obviously a big topic. It's community warfare.
Oh boy.
Now, community warfare, it's one of those things where we don't have the answers right now. We've heard in the past what Paul and Brian posted about community warfare, and basically, what they were wanting to do. But in general, from my understanding, those were just ideas. And this was over a year, actually a year and a half ago. So that being said, we've talked about community warfare in the past, and I want to just open the floor up and let's discuss community warfare. How far down the rabbit's hole do we want community warfare? And is that realistic or is it unrealistic? And I guess what I'm trying to say is sometimes we as players, and especially as MechWarrior fans, we want this uber experience of being in the BattleTech universe and losing mechs and pilots and salvage and all of this. Is that what community warfare is supposed to bring, or is that an unrealistic expectation? Who wants to open the floor?
Well, first of all, just everybody be careful. The floor is open and there's a rabbit hole,
Whoa.
So don't fall in. My feeling on community warfare is that I can't wait. First of all, there's nobody out there that is more anxious for it than I am. But obviously it's going to require some patience. But secondly, wishful thinking. What I want to see is stuff that brings teams together, units together, stuff to do, the contracts, your battles making a difference. Anything that can start to appease maybe the more competitive crowd, giving you options beyond just the random battles and the pug play. I think there's so much that could. I mean, if you go back and listen to our early podcast, that's all we did was speculate about what this could be and what we wanted it to be. There's so much potential there, but I think anything at this point, just even a foundation, a starting point, will do wonders for the community.
I can say that the plans have never changed, and nothing will be different from what was originally said, at least in like a large way. All of the things that we said earlier are still going to happen. So it's just a matter of, getting through them all in order. But yeah, we haven't like thrown everything out like this is stupid. We'll just make it so you do a mission a day and that's it.
Assault only.
Yeah, there won't be anything like that.
Brennan?
I have probably a somewhat controversial thought kind of thing. I think, no offense, Gareth, or anything like that, but I think you guys at PGI should get some sort of information about community warfare out as soon as possible. Mainly, a lot of people are looking at the Project Phoenix stuff, and they're seeing like your PGI is offering loyalty bonus items, but there's no information on what loyalty boost is actually doing or anything like that yet. That's just what I see. So
yeah, just give them a little taste of it.
I think the reality is that these are people that love the game too, and whether they come across that way or not, they're just desperate for anything as far as information because they love the game and they want more. I think that's the way
not just that, Daeron. I think what people are looking for is to know where MWO is going, to see what is my experience. What is the experience of me and my unit, whether it's a Merc unit, house, or clan, or whatever? What is that going to be like? And obviously, we played World of Tanks. You played extensively in the clan warfares over there. And I guess that's what I'm getting to is I think the community is saying, hey, you guys are launching September 17th, right? It is, almost, August. We've had no details since the beginning of community warfare. Can we sit down and can you at least tell us what's on the docket? And what I mean by that is, obviously we know UI 2.0 is coming, right? And they've stated UI 2.0, and I can't wait, and it's going to be great. But they said, hey, UI 2.0 has to be done. This whole system has to be implemented before community warfare because, just obviously the whole system's behind it. Now, they've stated there's going to be some type of lobby chat, and there'll be some type of, system for, community warfare, basic as is. But I guess that's what I'm trying to say is, I feel like these things need to be answered. So that being said, let's dive into,
Well, I wanted to point something out because I think there's some misunderstanding out there, which is that when we had Russ on the podcast last, he actually did not say that community warfare would be out before launch or for launch. He, in fact, insinuated that it would probably be after launch. So we know that they're trying to make 12v12 and UI 2.0.
There was a post. No, there was a post saying a form or a basic form will basically be out with launch. That's what I believe.
That's what the loyalty is for as well with the Project Phoenix mix.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, Russ said that, so I don't know.
Well, you got to also understand
the big community warfare things coming out in a lot of stages, but then they will have some form of community warfare at launch,
which could be just earning loyalty points. Right?
Exactly, like.
But the
What
point
those
is,
apply
the
to.
more
It's
you
all
let them sit there, the more unrealistic the expectations will get.
Exactly. That's what we just don't know right now. So,
but then
some
the other
sort
thing
of
is,
information packet would probably be very beneficial.
We always fall to World of Tanks as being an example. But do you know how long World of Tanks was out as official launch?
Yeah, I know
it
took forever, even the initial launch. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is, as we move forward, what are our expectations? That are they too unrealistic? And there's a lot of people that don't know about game development and how much time and effort and work goes into it. And yet you obviously you have the QQ crowd that's like, oh, well, I can do that in freaking a few hours. But the reality of things do take time. So in 2 months' time, or less than, basically 2 months' time right now, what are we going to expect? UI 2.0, obviously, that's I would assume that's going to be here. And then with that, you've got all the changes. Are we going to see a basic form, and what is that basic form, and then what's the plans? Now here's the catcher with all this is PGI comes out and they say, okay, for the launch, you're going to have UI 2.0, you're going to have this form of community warfare, and it's just a base. It's just, think of it as layers of cake. We're going to add on just, like other titles have done for that. But as soon as they do that, it's sort of a, obviously PGI has been accused of not meeting deadlines. And I think that's a fair statement, saying, hey, in game development, you're going to run into hiccups that were unexpected. You're going to run into obstacles that took a while to, get over. And I think that's just sort of, that's a normal. Even in any game development, you can ask any studio, nothing goes according to plan. So that being said, how well have they done to overcome those obstacles? And I think a lot of people just sort of don't acknowledge PGI has actually done a really good job. Yes, things take time. Yes, as a player, we want things happening right now. And, I can understand being upset if, that's not the case. But at the same time, you don't have to spend any money right now to play the game. And if you do, that's your own free choice.
See, I think I just can't get being upset. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to this is a fucking game. And who wants MechWarrior Online more than me? You know, I started playing it with a fucking tabletop when it came out. I want this. I've already decided I'll be playing this game for years. I want all these features, you know, as soon as they come out. I'm super anxious for it.
Yeah, but you got to understand. Look at the founders. Look at someone who says, "Okay, I've been here since the start. I'm a legendary founder. I dumped $120 in. I pay for premium time. I'm dumping all this money in." And someone could argue, and this is obviously working off the sidetrack here, but you know, the free to play market, and you know, normally, you know, regular Joe Schmo would dump, you know, $60 and that's it. But now you've spent a few hundred, and yet the game's not done. And obviously, for those that don't know, the free to play market is it's balanced around as far as the economic model, and marketing and all that is based around what are called like whales. It's basically for every X amount of players that you have, X amount, Y are supporting all that X amount because they're spending so much and stuff like that.
Who's the ones that are complaining are probably the ones that aren't spending. At least that's the way it is.
Well, I would actually, reading all the articles out there, it's actually no. The ones that are most vocal are your most passionate, and usually, and I'm sure Garth can actually give details, or you know, obviously he's not going to get any names, but I can guarantee you some of these people out in the, you know, that are criticizing PGI for not being on time, or, you know, balance is all messed up. Some of these things are some of the most probably loyal fans as far as money. So I can understand why someone might be upset, but is it acceptable, I guess? Okay, let's get back on the topic of community warfare. What's reasonable and what's unreasonable to expect in September? What do you guys feel? You guys basically said it's acceptable to and reasonable to say we have UI 2.0, we have some type of lobby system, and then we have some basic form of loyalty points, or you know, some type of. I mean, Laura, what did you say a minute ago?
I have no idea.
That's all going to shit?
I don't know. First world problems, man. Wherever it's going to be is where it's going to be. If we start pushing for it, this has to happen. What if it's not ready to happen? You know, like, I feel like it's in Piranha's best interest to do everything as best as they can, and that's what they're doing. And so I'm not going to fucking throw down the gauntlet and say this better happen here or else, because then I'm possibly, you know, potentially hurting the game by setting... who out there, I'd like to know what game out there is perfect. What game is putting everything out on time and, you know, doesn't have any developmental issues as far as the product? It seems to me like this is standard. Why are people surprised? And also, if you're adults, you chose to spend money, you know, and you also know what the video game industry is like. I just don't understand the getting crazy upset about it. I think there's so many more important things that we could get upset about than, you know, problems with games coming out perfectly on time.
Well, and go ahead, Laura.
I think... Oh, go ahead, Laura.
I think it's completely reasonable to expect exactly what they told us. People are going out there and they're fantasizing essentially about what they want community warfare to be. But the longer they go with that information, the more they're going to think, wow, my fantasy is really going to come true. And then when they hear something to contrary to that, they're like, holy shit, my fantasy didn't come true, what the hell?
That's basically what I was going to say. I was going to say that, yes, it's one thing to be like expecting something, but we haven't had information with regards to community warfare for a pretty long time now, as far as like what the status is on the actual on the status of the update and stuff like that as it stands right now, or what we're going to be receiving exactly.
Well, here's the one problem with that though is, hey, it'll be soon, or it's not done, or it'll be a long time. Really, any timeline we could possibly give would be negative in people's reaction. They would say, I want it now, don't put it out now, I want it fixed for later, this isn't in it, why isn't this in it? The problem we run into is any information we give will be received so negatively, as we've seen. And it gets to a point where we go, when do we give this information out? How much has to be done first? Should we give this information out? Should we wait? Should we give it to, you know, this second it's done? Like, you know, a week before we patch it in and say, here is what's coming.
So is that's hard that way. That's a problem with transparency. that you're open about the development to a certain extent, saying, hey, this is taking longer. And obviously there's blowback from some of the community, not all the community, you know, and one thing to realize too is
some of us remember the days when you got no information. Nothing.
Yeah.
From
Now
the
that being
developer.
said,
That's where I'm coming from myself.
well, that
Me
being
too.
Anybody
said,
still work on this game? Shit.
well, the game development has changed, social networking has changed, and our expectations have changed with it as well. Now you do have some studios that basically say, hey, here's the trailer, we're making the game, and we'll let you know when it's done. And that's all they leave you. And you know,
They're the smartest. That's the smartest.
no, Blizzard has caught a lot of shit about that. A lot of their community
They
members.
still make a shit of money. So
Yeah, dude,
Well-
they make more money than God. So
Yeah, but my point being is that's some game companies have a community manager that's very vocal and talks to the community or just basically tells them to F off and just wait. There's different roles, and I can definitely understand too. Some people are like, oh well,
Is that a shot
PGI
at
needs.
me?
No,
Yes.
no, dude, you're on you're on Twitch every single day. You're on, you follow the forums, you follow Facebook, you follow Reddit. You interact. But yet, of course, you don't do any of that. That actually doesn't happen at all. Of course, apparently to
well, the
some
problem
of these people.
is that you don't talk enough, Garth. That's the problem. It's been the problem for
Yep.
a long time. If you would talk more and tell us something, but
Yeah,
no,
just
it's
stomp
always
all
like,
over Phil.
well, I don't know.
Here's the thing. You don't need to give them fixed dates. Just give them a little bit more flavor text to work with. Hey,
So-
we have a problem with this, but we're working on it because blah, blah, blah. You don't have to tell them the
Yeah.
exact problem. You don't have to give them an exact date.
But you know what the first response to that will be, right?
Fuck
oh,
you.
it's broken. It's not working.
Oh.
It won't be out on time. And that's the
Well,
problem.
yeah,
Because
who cares?
early on, right, we did these
I
things.
think
We
what
came out
we're-
and said it's under development. But then
I think what we're hitting on is exactly the point, and this is something that me and Daeron have always sort of felt is sort of our position. When we created NGNG was to be that positive influence, and a lot of what you're saying is just this sort of cancer, this negativity, this cynical sort of attitude of, well, we could do it better, or I could do it better because I'm a game
It's like my
developer.
quote, the line from my quote, the elevation of self above all. And I feel like there's total entitlement out there in the community, and that their opinion is all that matters. And anybody that doesn't listen to them is stupid and wrong. And
You're going to
like-
see that in any game.
Yeah.
no, I know. I agree. In any community
But
online.
I guess that's what I'm saying is that's a community, and it's always it's a double-edged sword when a developer comes out and says, "Hey, this is what's going on," or "This is why said item
But the
or
point I was making is
isn't
I
in the
don't
game."
want-
balancing act, I would say. I would say the problem is you have to give some information, but not a lot, and just hope that people will take it in a positive manner. And when they
then
don't, there's not
prickle
really
it
much
up a
you can do
little.
about it.
Yeah, well, definitely. Just from what I've been reading and something and observing of the community, and most of the, you do have your very vocal and very radical posters and stuff like that, and those are the ones that are obviously going to get noticed the most because that's how it always is. But from my talks with people such as like Kong and even some of the goons, is that the most of them that aren't as vocal just say that even if you were to just come out and say we're having a problem with X, Y, or Z, and it's going to take a little bit longer before we get at it, just some sort of clarification or some sort of dialect, I guess, a little bit more. So, and then
Well,
that'd be
I
considering
played with Kong though. I've
Yeah.
dropped
Oh,
multiple
no, I know.
times and got their stuff, right?
Well, I mean,
Oh, I know.
considering, you just mentioned, two groups that I've seen pretty much the exact opposite of what we're talking about. No patience and being vocal. And there are some community members in those groups that just, if they weren't in this community, I wouldn't miss them at all. So, there is that. And there's other community members out there that are just sort of assist, nothing positive. They've added nothing to this community, just a negative weight. Anyways, off topic here. We're going to get back on topic. Community
I
warfare.
got like 2 minutes, so I gotta go. By the way.
Yep, community warfare. I definitely feel like we need more information. That's what we need. And as a player, I want to know. What should I expect and when should I expect it? Now, I think it's one thing to set a date, and I think it's one thing to set sort of like an appropriate sort of time frame. Like saying, hey, community warfare. The basics will be out at launch, but our first time, like phase 1 is this, phase 2, and you guys have done that in the past, and I feel like that's a good thing. But yeah, I definitely feel like community warfare will be a big integral part of MWO, and I feel like it's nothing going to be positive. I just feel like a lot of people, it has been a while, totally understand. And keep in mind though, for everyone listening out there too, if you've been in since closed beta, just think about this. A few years ago, this was all under NDA. You never talked about it, and there was no community movement. There was no community interaction. This was all done behind the scenes. You jumped to, year 2000, MechWarrior 3, 4, Mech Commander, all of that. None of this. I mean, this is something, and again, that comes back to Daeron, our expectations and our experiences as we've grown, as the internet's grown, as social media and this connectivity. Our experiences and our expectations have changed because of that. And whether good or bad, I think that's really up to us to sort of dictate whether it's good or bad. I think it's up to us to, sort of be the, like you said, adults about it and approach it with an adult attitude. And
but also keep in mind that it's up to the company to do whatever they want. And I'm not disagreeing with what you just said. I totally agree. And, yes, the industry evolves, but maybe part of that evolution is going, oh, well, we realized that we were giving out way too much information. That wasn't working, and we're going to go backwards, and we're going to give out less information and tell less. Maybe that's the way if the community essentially isn't mature enough to, handle this stuff.
Well, I say this, and you just said that, but one thing I want to keep in mind is when we say community, we need to be very, very clear that when we say community, it's the active forum posters, Facebook, Reddit, I mean, people who are playing the game as far as in groups, clans, mercs. We and Garth, obviously PGI hasn't released any numbers of how many players are playing, but I can probably say, and can you agree, that this community that we're talking about is a minority compared to the majority of people playing?
We talking negative Nancy's?
It's a percent.
No, I'm saying
kind of
I'm saying us right now on this channel, everyone on the Outreach TS3, everyone that is those type.
Yeah, we are a tiny fraction of the
We're a
community as a whole.
speck.
But we're also really freaking excited about it.
Yep.
So, anyways, Garth, I think you gotta get going. We appreciate the conversation and comments, man, and we will see you tomorrow for some more Twitch.
Tons of flames tomorrow after this goes out, and I am looking forward to it.
No more. We don't have 12v12 tomorrow. What's up with that? I was like, oh, yay! No.
It's good news in a way though, because it means 12v12 is actually coming sooner than originally. Can't say when, but it went well enough that we were like, okay, we can fix this, and it'll come.
Oh, there you have it. 12v12 is coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, no, tomorrow.
For Brawl.
Not tomorrow, the week after, right? Next patch day, right, Phil?
Yeah, no, it's happening right now.
Yeah.
Now,
It's
appreciate it, Garth.
What are you doing here?
We'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
Is actually Half-Life Episode 3 confirmed.
Yes, confirmed.
All right,
Bye,
buddy.
guys.
See you, buddy.
See you, Garth.
Bye, Garth.
Later, Garth.
See, in a way, we're employing Garth because we create this controversy, and then he gets to deal with the
I
backlash.
suppose. Shit.
All right, guys. Moving on from that, again, I just feel like it is a valid topic. Things we're talking about, game mode, balancing, community warfare. Community warfare is going to be huge. I see it as sort of a launching point for something more deep than obviously, Assault and Conquest. And that's not saying Assault and Conquest are bad. It's just the fact that they had to start somewhere. And, layers of the cake, and it'll eventually get there. But moving on, we've got Project Phoenix. The bonus ends in like a day. And what that means is if you order tomorrow, which this podcast may or may not be out, but if you ordered by the 25th, you get an extra day, 30 days of premium time. So it was like an added bonus. And that being said, I know some people are actually asking, and if we can get the clarification, I think we have it on this. Some people are asking, can you sell the non-hero mechs, basically, the non-Phoenix, the variants, if you will? Okay, so and that's official?
Says yes.
Now my question is,
Why wouldn't you?
why would you? Well, you sell mechs. You've sold mechs in the past.
I mean, why wouldn't you be able to? I'm not going to sell mine, but why
Blah,
wouldn't
blah,
you be able
cash
to?
grab? I don't know. I think
Well,
it's
I think what they were
it's
saying.
conspiracy theory type things.
Well, I think what they
it
were
was
saying
just
is.
confusion with the FAQ and stuff like that, where they said that the variants bought through the Phoenix, the Project
special
Phoenix.
ones. Yeah.
Yes. But I think they specifically said like mechs of the. I'm trying to remember the exact words. So I don't have it up right now, but it's like something along the lines of mechs from the Project Phoenix line or something like that will not be resellable. But that actually meant like the Project Phoenix special variants, not the actual non-normal
Standard. Yeah,
And
the
yes,
standard
Phil,
variants.
I did sell my Death Snell, and yes, I do regret it.
Well, I can
Sold your
understand.
Metal Babby?
I think
What is wrong with you? That is neglect of a small innocent
I
child.
think
You
some
sold
people
your
actually.
child.
I think actually some people were looking at it from a monetary standpoint of getting X amount of mech bays for very low cost, comparatively. I think that's why people were looking at it. And hey, I mean, if you want to invest in it, cool, whatever, it worked. But
Sure, why not?
so we got clarification on that, and I know a few people. And the next big thing is we've got the Sarah's mech. A lot of people, obviously, this story came out a few months ago. And PGI was basically saying, hey, we want to do a charity event, and then it got held up. And Russ mentioned this on when we were playing with him just like 2 weeks ago or something on a Friday, and he basically said there were some legal things that they had to jump through hoops. And Daeron, through our own with the RJC Memorial, we realized there were some legal things. So it is it's one of those things that's a little bit sketchy when you're doing a charity event and when you're a company or a business. And so anyways,
it's legally difficult to jump through all the hoops.
Yeah, so they've got it out, and so far we're over 43,000 during this recording. It's been like 24 hours, 28 hours, 20 something hours.
Pretty much every time I refresh, even if I refresh every minute, it's going up and up and up.
Yeah, and that being said, it's been everywhere. I'm talking. It's on PC Gamer, it's on Kotaku, it's on Reddit, it's on Facebook, it's being spread. And obviously, the way I look at this is Garth said this, and he says we could have done this and the way we're doing it right now, or we didn't have to do it. And the reason I said that is when there's already been a few people out in the community, I've seen comments of, oh, this is just a community ploy playing on a girl's death. And that really just irks me just so much, hearing someone like that and how cynical a person you are. And if I could reach through that screen and just, but anyways, look, they're doing it. All the money and proceeds are going to this, Canadian Cancer, Foundation, research. And all I got to say is it's amazing. I love seeing the community rise up above, and basically take it to cancer. I'm sure a lot of you listening have had, friends, family members, or yourself that have had to deal with it. I've had to deal with it through my mom, and I know others have as well. And it's a bitch. Cancer is a bitch, and I will be happy. And it's amazing to see how much research has gone into cancer and what is happening. Like, my mom would have died if it wasn't for it. And this was, in 2006. So, all right. Obviously, we've got Assault versus the World. The winners.
I would like to give the URL real quick. It is mwomerks.com/Sarah. Go and donate.
We've got Assault versus the World winners. Just big congrats to Ed Meester for winning the light.
Ed.
Yeah, so...
I watched him for hours doing that, and he deserves the win. That guy is just amazing in his Jenner. He actually encouraged me to pick up Jenners and actually train them for once. But it was an awesome tournament to watch.
Yeah, Jenners are your bane. So maybe if
Yes,
you gotta know thy enemy, right? To know thyself. So you gotta dive in and become a Jenner expert there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Obviously, 12v12 test was canceled tomorrow. Obviously, we just got that news from Garth saying that's a good thing. They've collected a lot of information, and that means hopefully 12v12 soon. Brian did say that was something that was supposed to go out in July, so maybe we'll see it in next week's patch, or maybe the week after. I don't know. Maybe. One thing for the Dev Stalker section of the podcast, we've got Paul basically sat down and in depth, he discussed the heat scale with pretty pictures and everything. Now, I read through this at the time. I want to get your guys' opinion. Brandon, what are your thoughts? And in general, what are just your thoughts? Not the community thoughts, just yours.
I like it. Anything that's more depth and limitations and more playing around in the mech lab to get a different build or different take on things. In my opinion, to add more depth, to add more mechanics. Not always the best, but I always see it as more fun. Then again, I'm also the type of person that played EVE Online as the extension into my Excel spreadsheet.
Gotcha. What about you, Laura?
We'll see.
All right, I think that's
Verdict is
fair.
still out. Is that
What about you, Daeron?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, all I can tell you is my personal experience. Number one, it didn't change the builds that I normally do at all. I wasn't a PPC boater before this, and I am not afterwards. And then the second thing is what I'm seeing, which seems to be less PPC boating, more SRMs, obviously, because those received a bit of a buff, and more brawling. I'm tending to see more brawling on average. So that's just what I'm seeing. As far as looking at the math and the pretty illustrations he did there, I really just wasn't interested. All I cared about is how it affected the game, and that's what I'm seeing in the ways that I play.
Now, Brennan, have you and the Aces, test, like, how has AV8 since this went in?
I don't know. I haven't been able to play.
I do AV8s. You're still coming across the people that are doing the min-maxing, and still people are using the PPCs, and what they've learned is, you fire 2, you wait however many seconds, you fire the next 2. But we're also seeing more people getting ready for tournaments. So there's more people actually intentionally scrimmaging against each other with weight restrictions, and that's changing things. Whereas a couple of weeks ago, there weren't as many people that you could hook up with doing that. So whatever reason, the tournaments are getting closer. That's happening more, and we can, for the most part, avoid the min-maxers that aren't doing the tournaments.
Okay, I can definitely understand that. Now, that being said, keep in mind for anyone who's listening, min-maxing isn't bad. I mean, competitive play, you want to win, you do what you need to win, and all that. So, yeah, I just want to make that clear. I just feel like min-max, always has that sort of negative, like, they're exploiting or something like. No, it's perfectly natural to progress. So that being said, my opinions or my thoughts on it is, I like it. I feel like it's just like. It's just like all these mechanics that we didn't have at the very beginning, so having them put onto us now it's tough sometimes to get used to them. This being said, I don't really have any builds that have been affected by this per se. I think there is an AC2 bug where if you chain fire, it has an issue. Obviously, hopefully that'll be fixing. But as far as the heat scale, I still don't think it directly affects some of the builds out there, and some people are still QQing about it. Like, it doesn't affect the Cataphract 2 ERPPC Goss. It doesn't affect some of the Highliner builds and stuff like that, but I don't think it should. What I feel like is this is just another layer. I am more interested as far as heat penalties. That's what I'm more interested in. I'm like, when I shut down at 100 and I'm taking damage, like that's good. Now that being said, I feel like I want a little bit more, like the ammo explosions. I used to see ammo explosions all the time in closed beta. They changed some values, don't see them very often. And that being said, I feel like it's one of those things like this. Imagine, right? Someone wants to push the limits. They have ammo, whether it's a street, SRM cat, or whether anything, but you have a chance of an ammo explosion. I feel like I want to hear it if I'm in the player, in the mech, or outside, and then I feel like it should just be this visceral like explosion, and it gets taken out. Like, it was just sort of like, it was subpar. It was like you'd hear boom, 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 boom.
Like,
you don't like popcorn?
I mean, even just simple effects such as like HUD flickering at like 90% plus would be more fun. Like, just something visual that if you're maybe not keeping your eye down there, that you'll be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't shoot these PPCs. Even like getting hit by a PPC will cause the HUD to static and stuff like in what was it, Mech 3 that did that?
Yeah, I really like that idea and that suggestion, and it's been brought up a lot. I don't know why they're not implementing that. It makes total sense to me.
You know what it is? It's not priority. I know they've talked about like the I1 ejection as far as like, if you shoot a mech, it boom. Yeah, I see what you did there. I want to see the pilot go out. It can be totally client-side, no gameplay, there's nothing like that, but I feel like those are little things that we definitely want to see. But anyways, enough of that. I'm happy with the heat scale. I still think that there's a lot of people that are like, it doesn't fix, like, there's still 4 PPC stalkers out there because they're not tied in the ER and the regular. They're not tied into each other yet. They will be, so let's see if that does that fix the boating as far as the negating the pinpoint accurate high alpha builds. I don't know yet. We'll just have to see.
Take time to reach equilibrium.
Yep. We've got a Twitter update from Brian Ekman, and he says creative director update is tomorrow.
We don't know what month this is for. I'm assuming August, but we never got one for July, so
Yeah, you skipped it.
So Brian, if you're listening, what's up?
Here's-
All right, guys.
Let's speculate actually for a moment. What do you think August's mech is going to be?
Irby.
The Orion.
Could be the Orion.
Okay, what weight
Banner's
class?
match.
No, Orion's already been announced. Are you talking about announcement or implementation?
Release, sorry, I should say. Release.
Release. So something we
Because-
haven't seen.
Or not, I should say coming out that we'll be able to play. We should.
Ah.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Scorpion.
Oh, okay.
Scorpion.
In game.
Yes,
I would
thank you.
say probably. Let's see, Orion. What else do we have? The
we
Flea.
also have current mechs that aren't. Because remember, the Quick Draw introduced 3 mechs that we don't know yet. There should be another medium, another light, and I believe another assault that we don't know about. There's still mystery.
I'm
I think
okay.
it's
They're
gonna
the best
be-
candidates.
I think it's going to be the Marauder.
I think we need a mech that has ballistic, missile, and energy in the medium class. All right, to Shadowhawk.
class.
Yay,
Darren, if there's going to be a
Shadowhawk.
Marauder, they're going to charge a whole hell of a lot of money for it.
King Crab confirmed.
Mhm.
Shadowhawk. Let's see. As far as that, I'd be happy with the Grasshopper. But I feel like it would be very similar. I'd have to check the variants. It'd be very similar to the Quick Draw, just a little bit heavier. I feel like right now, later on, I think they can implement it and be fine. But right now, I feel like like a lot of people would love the Quick Draw to have a ballistic slot. So like
a lot
just
of
one.
people would love some work on the Quick Draw. I think the Quick Draw needs to go back to the quick drawing board.
Yeah, I think it needs to be adjusted. That's just
We
me.
need
What
a
did
meth
we-
lab
what
and a
were-
mech lab.
What were our last 2 mechs? So this month's was the Victor, and the month before was the Quick Draw, correct?
I want to see the Stinger.
So it's not gonna. I don't think it's
Nah.
gonna be a heavy or an assault because we just got those. So
I just told you what I wanted to see. What
Dervish.
realistically will come out? Dervish, yes. Whitworth. You also have the Panther.
Panther would be good.
You have the Javelin. You've got so many out there. But anyways, we got to move on. There is a Founders Update, obviously, for MechWarrior Tactics, so make sure to check that out. Me and Daeron played it on NGNG TV a week ago. Really enjoyed it. We had 2 matches. Unfortunately, in the second match, there were some bugs, and we couldn't even finish the match. But the first match was really enjoyable, and it was so funny because, Daeron actually thought he was going to possibly win. So, hopes, dreams, poof, gone. I got to talk shit because you were talking shit.
I fired the pilot that made the mistake.
Darren was talking so much crap before during, and then he was like, "Ah, crap." So it is what it is. It was totally fun. I enjoyed it. By the way, I think we have some beta keys we should give away, but yeah, I think we can do that. So for those that haven't got in, I think we're gonna see if we can do another round, possibly in a week, and go from there. So yeah. We've got the BattleTech universe. Actually, for those that don't know, BTU is a gaming project that me and a few others are working on. Actually, to sort of give you an update, we had Rudy pipe in and talk about last week setting up the avatar, basically the Locust. One thing we're working on right now is setting up the reticle and torso rotation functionality. What that means is basically how you get the mouse to... Basically, how do you get it so the reticle, the torso follows the reticle, and then you put restrictions on the rotation and stuff like that. So basically, some of the character scripts. Basically, right now, what we have is, and this is just within the past 2 days, our programmer was able to create a square, and with that square, he attached a look at script. And created the script. So basically, wherever that square is, the locust looks at. So at the time when he first implemented it, basically the locust has 360 rotation, so you can run around it, but it's always looking at it. And he actually elevated it in the sky above the ground, and so when you'd run closer, the torso would actually elevate, or if you were above or below it or above, it'd look down or whatever. And this was actually really cool because this is the first time we've had that, and we didn't have it with the Battlemaster in the prototype build that you guys saw in the video. So what we got to do now is basically, and something Rudy and Tim, our programmer, are already working on, is putting limitations on the torso rotation left and right, and then also attaching it so you have a reticle graphic or some type of flash or whatever, that where that box is, make the box invisible. Anyways, there's some algorithms, some vector math apparently. I don't know all the programming, but it's coming along. So hopefully we'll be able to show you something relatively soon, probably in the next few weeks or month, and have put out something so you can run around with the locust and shoot pew pew. And yeah.
So the BTU announcement, they're square.
Let's see, we have the BattleTech, the board game. We have a preview of Alpha Strike, and we actually have a link for that. And those will be in the show notes, and you can check it out. It's there's a PDF for it. There's 2 different websites you can get it. Like when you click it, it goes to BattleTech, but then you can go from there to, it's like Battle Corps and stuff like that. Check it out. Very, very cool. I love the cover art for that particular book. So maybe I can contact. Well, we're doing Catalyst giveaways, obviously, but maybe we can get a few of the new content and possibly give those away too. I know. No, Randall's been awesome, by the way. All right, we have the Catalyst Game Lab sponsorship giveaway week 11. Don't forget, this week is the TRO 3039, and again, you can check that out at our website. Go to our forums, and all you have to do is register. And for this week, post your favorite light battle mech chassis, and it doesn't matter if it's Intersphere or Clan, just whatever your favorite light is.
Warhammer.
All right, so Facebook, we have 4,200 people. Holy shit, it's growing. It's every week we get more and more and more. It's amazing to see how many people are following us on Facebook, because it's a great way for us to get information to you directly. Also, that being said,
what's the size of our audience tonight, though?
Awesome,
Immeasurable.
A new record.
Infinite.
Good answer, BB. Love that.
Now, that being said, one thing we got set up, and I'd like to say thank you to Adam, our web guy behind the scenes. He set up so our website automatically sends the Twitter posts. So when I post up something in the news section under comics or articles or anything like that, it automatically feeds to Twitter. So a lot of people, are enjoying that. Again, that functionality we haven't had. I could set it up to automatically post to Facebook, but I don't like doing that. So anyways, I mainly do that. But also, make sure to head over to our YouTube channel. Check that out. A lot of great feedback. And, I try to post up, and something me and Daeron, our initiative since I got back from vacation a few weeks ago, is to post up new content every day for you guys, whether it's the Twitch events and new videos, also the Mech Commander series as well. So make sure to check that out. Give us your feedback. Head over to our forums. Let us know. You can even ask, request. I can even check those out as well. We also have the NGNG TV. Our streamers are doing awesome. MPU was rocking out with TeamSpeak Tuesday yesterday. There was a shit ton of people on that channel, by the way. Mm-hmm. And then, afterwards, around 12 last night Eastern, he was finishing up, and me, Daeron, and Rudy hopped in there, and we grabbed Adam from Aces and played for a little bit. So these guys have done an exceptionally amazing job. It's just sort of cool seeing the different personalities. Obviously, some of them, I know Malus, Blake, he's, real life's taken up. He can only stream every once in a while. We've had, Gunny's real life has came up and taken over. So that happens. And as some of these guys have to take a break, we may be looking for more people. So we actually have a few names on our list, too. So we may be contacting you soon.
Welcome.
And of course, just a quick update, some cool things coming your guys' way. We're going to be posting up some multiple different t-shirt designs. There will be 2 different polls. One poll will be for the NGNG Hex shirt. We've got some really cool designs by our graphic designer, Chris Adams. And then our second t-shirt that you guys will be able to vote for is another graphic tee that I think you guys are going to... Yes. Darren's seen these, and...
They are awesome.
And of course, thank you to everyone, our community, our other staff members for supporting us, and you guys out there. Again, you guys are amazing. All the donations that come in through NGNG, or if you go to our store and buy items, that goes into NGNG. It pays for the audio editing, pays for some of the comics and other stuff. And I just want to say thank you again. That's amazing, and we really do appreciate your support. And it's crazy to see how far NGNG has came. And remember George, piping in, and he used to be like, it's crazy to be looking on the outside and, telling us how wonderful job. And it's, it was pretty humbling coming from him, a professional out there telling us that we were doing a good job. And we get that all the time from you guys. So I just want to say thank you. And hopefully, you guys enjoy everything we do here at NGNG, and obviously the future stuff that, I have to give the hint. I gave this on Twitch yesterday. And this is the hint I'm going to give to you guys. And this is we've got something in the works. I'm going to say YouTube and BattleTech. That's all I gotta say. That's the only hint I'm giving you. So anyways, guys, this was your local No Guts, No Galaxy MechWarrior podcast. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show. This is Phil.
This is Daeron.
This is Brandon, also known as Country Cal.
This is Laura.
This is George. My shout out goes out to Garth. Oh wait, that's the beginning of the show. This is George.
Until next time, Mech Warriors.